Good morning and welcome back to today's second online class in the subject Corporate Finance. This class is conducted for MBA semester 2 students. And today's session, we are solving numerical problems on chapter number 18, Operating Financial and Combined Leverages. So in the previous class, we have started solving a problem on EBIT EPS analysis, wherein we have to choose the best among the alternative financing plans, which ensures maximum EPS. I'll quickly read the problem once again because this is a new video. Kindly bear with me for just 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a question from June 2012 VTU question paper for 10 marks. So Oriental Limited currently has an ordinary share capital of 25 lakh rupees consisting of 25,000 equity shares of 100 rupees each. The management is planning to raise another 20 lakhs. It is additional capital in addition to existing 25 lakhs. The management is planning to raise another 20 lakh rupees to finance major expansion program through one of the four possible financial plans. So the company can raise the additional 20 lakh rupees from any one of these four financing plans. So financing plan one is raising the additional 20 lakh rupees entirely through equity shares. So this plan does not carry the fixed financial cost. Financial plan to 10 lakh rupees through ordinary shares, that is equity shares, and 10 lakh rupees through 8% long-term loan. Which is the proportion of debt and equity is 50-50 here. So there is a presence of fixed financial cost because the debt capital is present. Third financial plan raise 5 lakh rupees through ordinary shares and 15 lakh rupees through 9% long-term loan. In this plan also fixed financial cost are present, that is the interest on debt. Loan means debt. Then financial plan for 10 lakh rupees through equity shares and 10 lakh rupees through preference share capital. So again in this plan the fixed financial cost, that is the interest is absent, interest on loan is absent, sorry. Okay, so additional information provided is company's EBIT are 8 lakh rupees. Corporate tax rate is 50%, and by determining the earning per share in each alternative financing plan, we have to suggest which alternative is best and why. Okay, so we have already started the solution. So this title of the table of the solution will be EPS under various financial plans. So we'll make a beginning with EBIT, which is given in the problem, 8 lakh. So EBIT EPS analysis helps us identify the financial plan, okay, which ensures the highest earning per share giving the same level of EBIT. So 8 lakh rupees is the EBIT under all four financial plans. So less interest, financial plan 100% through equity, so there is no interest on debt. Second financial plan 50%, 10 lakh rupees through 8% loan, that is a debt. So 8% of a 10 lakh rupee is 80,000 is the interest. Third financial plan 15 lakh rupee loan, long-term loan through at 9% rate of interest. So 9% of 15 lakh rupees is 1,35,000 is the interest. So financial plan 4, it is through equity shares and preference shares. So there is no interest. So earnings before interest and taxes are 8 lakh rupees, 7 lakh 20,000 rupees, 6 lakh 65,000 rupees, and 8 lakh rupees respectively. Then 50% of this will be deducted as tax, as the corporate tax rate is 50%. Okay, so 4 lakh rupees, 3 lakh 60,000 rupees, 3 lakh 32,500 rupees, and 4 lakh rupee is the tax amount of tax under each financial plan. So what remains is earnings after taxes. 4 lakh 3 lakh 60,000, 3 lakh 32,500, and 4 lakh rupee are the earnings after taxes, respectively, under the four financial plans. Then less preference dividend. So preference capital is not present under the first three financial plans, so it is nil here. So under financial plan 4, if you can recall, 10 lakh rupee will be raised through equity shares and 10 lakh rupee will be raised through 5% preference capital. So 5% of 10 lakh is 50,000 rupee, the dividend to be paid on preference shares. So 50,000 rupee the preference dividend only in case of financial plan 4. So once we deduct, what we get is earnings available to equity shareholders. So 4 lakh, 3 lakh 60,000, 3 lakh 32,500, and 3 lakh 50,000 rupee are the earnings available to equity shareholders under each respective financial plans. Now to find out earnings per share, we need to divide the earnings by the number of equity shares. So how are we going to calculate the number of equity shares? So please remember, it is given in the problem. Oriental Limited currently has a equity share capital of 25 lakh rupees. So entirely equity shares. They have given the number of equity shares readily. 25,000 equity shares are already there in the company, whose market price is 100 rupees. So how number of equity shares are determined? You can divide the equity capital. Remember, only equity capital by market price of equity share. So in this case, entire 25 lakh rupees equity capital, so divided by 100 is equal to 25,000 are the number of equity shares which are already there with the company at present. So under each financial plan here, we have to go on adding the additional number of equity shares. Okay. So financial plan 1, 25,000 equity shares are already present in the company, and there will be additional 20,000 equity shares. So how we are going to calculate? So look, the company is planning to raise additional 20 lakh rupees. So I have to find out the number of equity shares only with respect to this. So under financial plan 1, entire 20 lakh rupee will be raised only through ordinary shares. Ordinary shares means equity shares. So we know the market price of equity shares. So 20 lakh rupees are divided by 100. 20 lakh rupees divided by 100 is equal to 20,000 will be the additional number of equity shares. So that is 20,000 additional equity shares. So 25,000 current equity shares plus additional 20,000 equity shares. Total number of equity shares under financial plan 1 will be 45,000. Same way, we are going to identify the number of equity shares under each financial plan. So under financial plan 2, 25,000 equity shares are already existing, and the additional number of equity shares under financial plan will be 10,000. So let us see how. So out of additional 20 lakh rupees under financial plan 2, 10 lakh rupee will be raised through ordinary shares. Ordinary shares means equity shares. Okay. So how I determine number of equity shares? 10 lakh rupees, that is equity capital, divided by market price of equity share, that is 100. So 10 lakhs divided by 100 is equal to 10,000. So the additional equity shares under financial plan 2 are 10,000. So 25,000 plus 10,000 is equal to 35,000 equity shares will be there under financial plan 2. So under financial plan 3, okay, 25,000 equity shares are already present. Plus there will be additional 5,000 equity shares. So let us calculate. So financial plan 3, out of 20 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupee will be raised through ordinary shares or equity shares. So again, the market price of the equity shares is 100 rupees each. So divide 5 lakh rupee equity capital by 100 rupees. So 5 lakhs divided by 100 is equal to 5,000. So additional equity shares under financial plan 3 will be 5,000. So 25,000 plus 5,000 is equal to 30,000 equity shares will be there under financial plan 3. Okay. Then financial plan 4. 10 lakh rupee will be raised through equity shares. The market price of equity share is 100 rupee each. So 10 lakhs divided by 100 is equal to 10,000 will be the additional number of equity shares under financial plan 4. Okay. So 25,000 equity shares which are currently present plus 10,000 additional equity shares is equal to 35,000 equity shares will be there under financial plan 4. So we understood how to identify or calculate total number of equity shares under each financial plan. So you need to be alert while at this stage. Okay. Then once we divide 4 lakhs earnings divided by 45,000 equity share, earning per share is 8.89 under financial plan 1. 3,60,000 earnings available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares 35,000 is equal to 10.28. The earnings per share under financial plan 2. 3,32,500 divided by 30,000 is equal to 11.08 is the earning per share under financial plan 3. 3,50,000 divided by 35,000 is equal to 10 is the earning per share under financial plan 4. So conclusion is easy. Alternative 3 is best, means the company should raise additional 20 lakh rupee capital under financial plan 3. The company should raise additional 20 lakh rupee capital through financial plan 3. Okay, because it offers highest earning per share, that is 11.08. So let us see which is financial plan 3. 5 lakh rupees through equity shares and 15 lakh rupee through 9% long term loan. Okay, so the solution is, our suggestion is alternative 3. Alternative 3 or financial plan 3 is best, means company should raise the additional 20 lakh rupees through financial plan 3, that is 5 lakh rupee through equity capital and 15 lakh rupee, okay, 15 lakh rupee through 9% long term loan, as it ensures highest earning per share, that is 11.08. Now if you pay attention, so how the presence of debt capital, okay, ensures higher earnings per share. But remember, debt when it employed to an optimal level, okay, it ensures highest earnings per share or higher earnings per share. But beyond that limit, as I said, it increases financial risk of the firm. Okay, financial risk of the firm is inability of a firm to cover its fixed financial cost, that is interest on loan or interest on debentures. Okay, so when debt is used at the optimal level, it ensures highest or higher earning per share. Let us see how. If you look at the number of equity shares, see, though the earnings available to equity shareholders is the highest under financial plan 1, that is 4 lakh rupees, but yet the earnings per share is the lowest in this case. It is because the number of equity shares are highest in financial plan 1. So 4 lakh divided by 45,000, the earning per share is only 8.89, which is the lowest among the all 4 alternative financial plans. It is because earlier also 25 lakh rupee was raised entirely through equity capital, and the additional 20 lakh rupees also raised entirely through equity capital. So the proportion of equity capital in the total capital structure is 100%. So I said owners funds are most expensive. Okay, that is why we said, that is what we learned in previous classes. So owners funds are most expensive, that's why, okay, the earning per share are lowest here. So when you consider financial plan 3, when you consider financial plan 3, you look at the number of equity shares. The number of equity shares under financial plan 3 are lowest, that is 30,000. So why the number of equity shares are lowest under financial plan 3? If we refer the financial plan 3, only 5 lakh rupee is raised through ordinary shares. Only 5 lakh rupee is raised through equity shares. So whereas 15 lakh rupee out of the additional capital required is raised through debt capital, that is 9% long-term loan. So the company will be doing business from outsiders' money. That's how it brings down the cost of capital as well as maximizes earnings per share. So since 15 lakh rupee out of the additional capital is raised from, okay, long-term loan, the number of it, and only 5 lakh rupees raised from equity capital, the additional number of equity shares are only 5,000, and 5,000 additional equity shares plus existing 25,000 equity shares add up to only 30,000 equity shares. So though the earnings available to equity shareholders is the lowest here among all the four alternatives, but yet the earning per share is highest because the number of equity shares under financial plan 3 are lowest. It is because out of the additional 20 lakh, 15 lakh rupees is raised through debt capital. Okay, but again I caution, remember, use of debt in the total capital structure, okay, to the, when it is optimal, only then it ensures highest earning per share. But beyond a limit, if debt is employed in the total capital structure, it increases the financial risk of the firm, and the shares of this company, okay, becomes less attractive in the stock market. Hence the market prices of such equity shares will fall, and it fails to ensure wealth maximization of shareholders. So debt should be employed very intelligently to the optimal level by the finance manager. So this is the critical role of finance manager. What percentage of debt should be employed in the total capital, or what percentage of capital should be raised from debt in the total capital structure. Okay, so with this, we conclude unit 5. Okay, I'm going to unmute you all. If you have any doubts related only to this problem, okay, you can ask. And if you do not have a doubt, kindly mute your audio immediately. Okay, any doubts from students? EBIT, EPS analysis. Okay, so there is silence. So I will assume that you are able to understand the numerical problems, hence you will have confidence to solve similar problems in examination. Okay. Then now I'll give concluding remarks. Okay, today's class, Sharon is absent. Okay. Okay, now I just quickly browse through the syllabus of corporate finance. So I'll just remind you how we covered the syllabus. So if you can recall, Unit 1, Introduction to Financial Management. That chapter number 1, Financial Management and Overview, which was purely theoretical in nature. We covered all these contents in the classroom before the lockdown, and I shared PowerPoint slides and notes, that is the reading material in PDF file. Then we started time value of money, Okay, and we covered these contents: rationale of time value of money, techniques of time value of money, that is the compounding techniques, and discounting techniques. Okay, in the class itself before lockdown. So I have written all the numerical solutions to numerical problems which are solved on the board in your fair notebook. Okay, and then I also gave PowerPoint slides, and yeah, there was no reading material in this chapter. Then I also shared you soft copy of the time value tables. Then regarding unit 2, yes, we started unit 2, long-term investment decision, that is capital budgeting, chapter number 9, in the classroom itself before the lockdown. We covered principles and techniques and determination of relevant cash flows and categories of capital projects, all theory part in the classroom itself. And I shared you the PowerPoint slides and notes, that is the reading materials in PDF file. Then we solved one case study on a single proposal, how to evaluate single proposal in the class itself, and I have written the solution in your fair notebook. Then here onwards, all the remaining syllabus is covered through online classes. Okay, so we have solved numericals on a replacement situation, mutually exclusive proposals, case study 2 and 3. And we also learned theory as well as solutions to numericals on evaluation techniques, that is traditional techniques and time adjusted techniques. So all the resources, that is the PowerPoint slides, reading material, that is notes in PDF file, solutions to numerical problems in PDF file, as well as the YouTube link, video links to online classes conducted are shared through Google Classroom. Unit 3, long-term investment decision, measurement of cost of capital. Chapter number 11, concept and measurement of cost of capital we learned. So all the theory part, importance and concept, measurement of specific costs. Okay. Then cost of equity capital, dividend approach, and capital asset pricing model are shared through reading material, notes in PDF file, PowerPoint slides, and all the numericals of specific costs: cost of debt, cost of preference shares, cost of equity, and cost of retained earnings are shared through notes or reading material in PDF format. And all the YouTube video links of the online classes conducted are also shared in Google Classroom. Unit 4, current assets management. So if you can recall, working capital management, chapter number 13. All the theory part was covered in the beginning of April through online classes. That is nature of working capital, planning of working capital, need of working capital, operating cycle, and determinants of working capital. This was covered in the beginning of April through online class. The video was also already shared. Computation of working capital. The numericals were solved before this unit number 5, if you can recall. And unit 5, financing decision, what we finished just now. Chapter number 18, operating, financial, and combined leverage. Today we finished just during this class, theory as well as numericals. And designing capital structure, the factors determining capital structure, okay, was also discussed at the beginning of April, okay, through an online class. Then unit number 6, dividend decisions. So only theory, pure theory, we learned determinants of dividend policy through an online class. That was our first online class, if you can recall, in the April. So as you can see, okay, so the entire syllabus is completed, okay, partially through real classrooms before the lockdown, and a major percentage of the syllabus through online classes. Okay, so I recall again the types of resources which I have shared: YouTube video links to all the online classes conducted, then a reading material or notes for all the theory parts, solutions to numericals, okay, for all online classes in the PDF file, PowerPoint slides. Okay, as well, you are always feel free to call me if you have any doubts while solving a numerical or preparing for the examination. Okay. Now, see, it is just like a classroom, but only thing it is virtual. Okay, everything is done the way we do it in a real classroom. So I request any one student to give a feedback. Okay, this feedback will be general on the entire class, entire online classes. So in the absence of both the CRs, I request any one student. You can unmute your audio, okay, and give the feedback for a couple of minutes. Okay, Gitanjali, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Gitanjali, can you give a small feedback? Okay, so connectivity problem. Kindly delete the drawings. Okay, kindly delete the drawings. Nandan, can you speak? Nandan, can you hear me? There is no audio.
As you repeat every sentences, everything two times, we were easy, it was easy to understand also. And even if there was network issue, when you repeat second time we can understand it properly, so it was good.
What about the resources shared?
Yeah, resources are all helpful, sir. We can refer them and solve similar problem, so we can understand.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, so now students, with this, we have come to the end of the syllabus. Okay, so as I went through the syllabus, the entire syllabus is completed properly. Okay, so now your responsibility will be to watch the uploaded videos, okay, and learn those who are absent and those who are regularly attended the classes. Okay, you can solve the numericals on your own, try to solve them. You can refer the material resources shared if you are unable to solve, or you can also call me and clarify your doubts always. Okay, and the things ahead are immediately now your assignment you need to submit through Google Classroom. I have shared the video on how to, okay, upload your PDF file, scanned PDF file into Google Classroom. That is the only way how you can submit. Please remember. Okay, the next will be internal assessment. Okay, I have shared the syllabus and question paper pattern of internal assessment. So kindly prepare accordingly. And any doubts, you can feel free to call me. And those students who have been regularly attending, kindly talk to those students. Okay, so then with that, I'll take you earlier. So I thank all the students who have been regularly attending my online classes, without which the online classes were not possible. And I also thank you for your active participation and cooperation whenever there were technical problems. Okay, so hope to see you all soon in the college campus. Okay, with that positive note, I will end today's meeting. All the best. Okay, good day. Take care. Okay,
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
yeah, welcome, welcome all of you.
It was good, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you one and all. I'm going to end the meeting.